Man, look, this is one of those nights they're going to need to drag us up off this set. All right, we get to 1 Eastern, so we've got some room, and we'll need it after an epic performance from Steve Kerr's guys who were indeed bleeping giants. We've got Tim Legler standing by. We will hear from Stephen A. Smith, Jeff Van Gundy, and sometimes we get cute with the best thing I saw today. There's really no need. The best thing we saw today was the 3, and he said, I told y'all, Golden State wins Game 6 with Kevin Durant not in the state. And look, this is where I'm supposed to give you some coherent thought. I'm just stream of consciousness. Chris Paul was spectacular after he had a miserable first 5 games of the series. And it's ironic because last year he was great in the first 5, wasn't available in Game 6 because of the injury. In Game 6, Chris Paul was spectacular. It felt for a while in the fourth quarter, Stanford Steve said it, like it was Game 7 of the 16 NBA Finals because the basket started to shrink. It felt like the oxygen in the building was hard to come by. It was clear that Houston fans were aware that this might be slipping away. And then you see the greatness of Steph Curry, the absolute greatness of Steph Curry. Scoreless in the first half. He scores 33 in the second half. And I don't know why he wears the bullseye he wears. I don't know why you guys out there, plenty of people I like and follow on Twitter. You guys want to get your jokes off, man. This plate is for you. And you can put some Tabasco on it, but y'all got to eat it. All right? You're going to have to deal with what Steph Curry just served up to everybody when he goes for 33 and his highest scoring fourth quarter in his career in a game where you wondered, how much effort do they put forth with Game 7 back at Oracle? It's not necessary. Golden State wins this game in Houston. Tim Legler alongside, and you're shrugging. Help me out, big fella. You're great at helping me learn. What can you teach me?
I should have known better. I should have known better. I really should have. Me of all people.
A shooter.
A shooter. A guy that, has seen Steph Curry, what he's done over the years, that's redefined what great shooting is. Should have known better, man. But this was as good as it gets. For a guy to do this after the first half that he had. And
no points.
And I'm saying at the time, is he going to be able to get it going? Because foul trouble makes you tentative as well. Scott, I think these are the 2 biggest possessions of the game. Here's the first one. This is critical because both teams went about 2 minutes without a quality shot, 2-point game. And look at what happens here. This is Chris Paul, flat out, taking a peek at the basketball. That's the only reason that this happens. And Steph Curry reads it, and it's just enough space to come here and get this dribble handoff. They get a decent contest, but if Chris Paul is locked into Curry's chest, he doesn't get this shot. The nerve to take it falls down.
He's begging for a call, doesn't get it, and shouldn't have.
And now this one is beautiful because Klay Thompson deserves some love, but this is also Warriors brand. This takes us back a few years. This is the Warriors at their best. And again, it starts with the greatness of Steph Curry, and it starts right here. He takes 2 great players, occupy.
And they were doubling everything they could to try to prevent Curry from getting his.
Exactly right. At this point, he'd made a couple deep runs. It's not going to be him, they're saying. Ball's going to come to Draymond Green. What a game he had, by the way, as a facilitator. This is the Warrior way. This is what it reminds me of. So now he's going to drive hard, and he is going to make guys on the weak side make a decision. Here's what happens. Chain reaction. Clint Capella comes up. James Harden drops down to Chip, and that means this guy's got to play 2 on the weak side. Draymond Green gets it in the middle. He goes corner. Chris Paul's got to run to the ball, and that means there's one more pass. It ends up dagger 3, Klay Thompson, lights out, building out. Have a good night. Have a good off season. I mean, I'm still speechless by what I just saw out of Steph Curry, to be honest with you, because at halftime, 3 fouls.
Yeah.
No points, no rhythm. You're tentative to drive when you have 3. You're tentative to guard anybody when you have 3. And he comes out as the highest scoring half of his career.
And that's the hockey assist there. The beautiful Golden State game, bing, bang, boom, and it ends up in the hands of Klay, who buries his. In the end, I mean, it doesn't matter what it says. It doesn't matter. Let's hold that thought, because afterwards, Steph Curry and Lisa Salters with their thoughts on the fourth quarter and advancing as well. I can't imagine the emotion of the moment, because this is a guy, and I'm having some fun during the highlight about Twitter slander. We all know that's fine. That's sort of what it's for. But this is a guy that's doubted it. I don't understand why. Do you?
No, not at this point.
He has no reason to be doubted ever.
All right, let's welcome in Jeff Van Gundy. And this, fellas, is it's just three guys talking. So anybody that's got something they want to say, by all means, let us know. And I'll just start with you here, Jeff. Sitting there courtside, how would you describe what you saw in the fourth quarter from Golden State?
Well, I thought they played outstanding basketball. Obviously, Curry offensively was huge. I think defensively they competed hard. And they came up to me with a very improbable win. I was astounded that they were able to win tonight with the limited depth that they have without Cousins and Durant.
I made the point there, and I'm curious, Jeff, sitting where you're sitting, did you sense that this building is filled with dread as Houston went through a prolonged stretch where they were unable to score, with the feeling that if Steph lights the fuse, you never know? Is that something that was like that you could sense?
Well, I'm terrible. I have terrible sense, Scott, so I don't know about that, but I know how dangerous Curry is. Now, listen, he's played a very disappointing series up until particularly the fourth quarter, where he got it absolutely rolling and made incredible shots. But anytime you're tied at half against Golden State with the roster that they put on the floor tonight and Curry hadn't scored, it's dangerous. I thought Golden State rebounded the ball well, and they forced turnovers, and that's what you need, more possessions.
Jeff, when a guy closes a game like that, sometimes things are going to get lost in a discussion the next day. And one thing I think that needs to be talked about is Houston first half loading up on Steph. Obviously, he gets in foul trouble, basically took him out of the game, those two things. Clay got hot, but those other guys had so much room to play because of the overplaying on Clay and Steph, that you allowed those role players to keep them tied at halftime. And I think it's going to get lost, but when you look at the way Steph Curry played in the first half, that should have been a 12 to 15-point game, and Houston was probably a little bit shocked at halftime that it was tied. But give those Golden State supporting cast a lot of credit, right?
Well, you think about the offensive rebounding in the NBA, it's been devalued over the course of the last 2 decades. And yet tonight, and in tough playoff games, the ability to create second shots like Looney did in the first half, like Iguodala did, those are huge, huge possessions, and you have to give them credit. As you mentioned, they were trapping Curry. That means bodies have come off bodies. Very few teams emphasize blocking out, and I give Golden State a lot of credit. They were on that board, and they were on it with significant force.
Jeff, thanks so much. We appreciate it. We'll be talking again throughout the Western Conference Finals and the Finals. Thank you, man.
All right, take care, guys.
Yep. I would ask Coach sort of how Coach D'Antoni's feeling, but rather than that, let's let you listen in on what has to be an absolutely gutted Houston head coach.
Mike, did it just feel like every time you started to get a little bit of momentum that they'd get a rebound or there was some sort of missed assignment that they just kept on fighting and you guys just didn't make the little things happen?
Yeah, I mean, when there were times that we could have made some big plays and got a little separated, we just didn't get it, and we just couldn't make the big play. You know, a big shot or a big steal or whatever. You know, first of all, they're champions, and they come in here down a man, but the way they shot the ball and the way they played, they're smart, and that's why they won rings. And we got to get there somehow.
Mike, how tough is this for you guys, James, Chris, everybody, knowing how hard you fought the last few seasons and how difficult this team has been to beat?
Well, this one's going to leave a mark. This is not something you just get over with. You know, I'm definitely not going to get over it in this press conference or tomorrow or the next day, but this one hurts. We didn't play our best, and to beat these guys, you got to play your best. It's almost like in a boxing match, you got to knock the champion out, and we didn't knock him out. And we're not going to win on points. You know, we didn't do it. We didn't deliver the blows that would at least get us back to Golden State. But, you know, again, I don't know the degree of difficulty of their shots, but it was not easy, and they knocked them in when they counted.
You held Steph scoreless in the first half, but Clay had 21, Steph with 33 in the second half. What did they do different after halftime?
None. I mean, they didn't do anything different. They just played a lot better. Maybe our legs got a little tireder, but, you know, Steph was incredible, obviously. 33 points in the second quarter is ridiculous. But, you know, he has those streaks, and I did make the comment at half, that's not good, he's got 0. Because you know he was going to come back and get a lot of points. I didn't envision 33 points, but, he's capable, obviously, and he did it.
Well, Mike, you mentioned they're champions, and obviously the Warriors have a lot to do. The players they have a lot to do with this. How much, though, especially fourth quarter, it's close, is there just a mental hurdle getting over Golden State?
Well, I think getting anybody and closing out a series, and it's especially when they're that good. You cannot relax on defense for 1 second. You cannot forget to box out 1 second. You've got to go. You've got to be a champion to be the champion. And I just thought there's too many times that we had a miscommunication, a little.
That was Coach D'Antoni moments ago. Here's Chris Paul live after a spectacular Game 6.
And Draymond was slipping it. We let Steph get a couple butt-naked layups. Clay moving, hitting big shots. And it's funny because everybody, even Shump talk about it all the time. You say, make the other guys beat you. And, Iguodala, how many threes he hit? 5 out of 8. You say make the other guys beat you, and they damn sure did that. You know what I mean? And then they players made big time plays when they needed to.
Chris, were there points in the game where you felt like you had a little bit of momentum, and then they would either get an offensive rebound or there'd be a turnover or something?
Yeah, all the time. Every time we had a chance to go to 10 or something like that, we make a turnover or offensive rebound, and they, like I said, they made the plays. So.
Last year in the playoffs, you had a lot of wings to combat the way they played this year.
This is the first series in the history of the NBA in which all 6 games were decided by 6 points or less. Tim Legler, you and I were talking about a loss at home by, 39 in Game 6 to San Antonio a couple years ago without Kawhi.
Yeah.
That's one thing. Coach D'Antoni says this will leave a mark. Because of their stated goal to take down this team, and they don't have Durant, and you're on your home floor and you lose, how do you reconcile this if you're Houston?
Yeah, because this isn't even in the moment with Durant going out. This is a 2.5-month march toward this team, and they were certain that they were going to beat them this time, even with him. Then he goes out. Obviously, you believe you're going to get it done. I think one of the things that we haven't talked about is you cannot overstate the certainty of having won before. And that's not confidence that allowed them to come back and win this game. It's the certainty that it was going to happen because you got a bunch of winners.
Well, we haven't talked about it yet. Here's the good news. We have another hour taking us up until 1 o'clock Eastern time, and we will cover all that and more. As SportsCenter continues, Stephen A. Smith getting mic'd up. You don't have